Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Here we are back in the saddle again for episode 223 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing, and the podcast that makes things better than they are in real life. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy. God, Tanner, that's, the intro, we hear it a lot, but it's getting to the point now where it's like my pump up song now.
It is.
It's like it gets going. I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go for this thing.
It's like if you were going to go out for a big lift in the gym, you'd be like, where's the CAS button?
That's the PR song is, we got to hit the CAS button.
Yeah.
We got to go with it. We need like some of these things coming in. I'm ready to go now, man.
Gino.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have power lifted in competition with Gino yelling at you before.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, multiple times, two times now.
Yeah.
Oh, the good old days.
Those are the good old days. Hopefully there's meets again someday, and hopefully Gino comes back to South Dakota again to announce another meet. It might happen. someday.
Might happen someday.
Yeah.
I wouldn't count on it anytime soon, but someday.
I think I'm gonna. Well, actually, what I think I'm going to do is
read
some ads.
Yeah, I came in with too much heat at the beginning there, Tanner.
Yeah. I like to forget about this sometime. Today is an important day to not forget one of these ads, too, because one of the owners is actually going to be a guest on today's show.
That'd be a big no-no.
Yeah. First, I want to tell you about Texas Power Bars, though. Do you know about Texas Power Bars?
I have a hunch about Texas Power Bars, but I want you to tell me a little more about them.
Okay, you're going to know more. In 1980... well before either of us were born.
Well before.
Yeah.
I was born in 2012. I'm only 8 years old, so most people don't know that.
It's funny that people that were born in 2012 are 8 years old. Well, my son is born in 2011. Yeah. He's going to be 9.
My math is correct.
Yeah.
He's around 9.
Yes. Buddy Caps. Anyways, in 1980, Buddy Caps set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with. And the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and to buy one of their legendary bars, please visit texaspowerbars.com. Today's show, I actually just had a really important message right here that I have to show you.
Oh, very cool.
So what just our guests for the show. Normally I wouldn't interrupt the show with
our guests are chiming in. We might have a twofer on this one.
Do we say yes to that?
I don't know why
we
not.
said. Yeah.
The more the merrier, right?
Okay. So now our guest list just changed for the day.
Just doubled the size of our guest list.
But first, more about our sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home of the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they are always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using discount code MASS20 at checkout. Today's episode is also brought to you by Spud Inc. The goal of Spud Inc. straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. And probably most importantly for this episode, it is brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They're your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training-related, nutrition and body composition-related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. When you're on their site, make sure to use our code MASS, M-A-S-S-S, in all caps for 5% off any training or nutrition memberships for the life of your membership. Visit hybridperformancemethod.com.
And Tanner, was that M-A-S-S-S or M-A-S-S?
Did I say 3 S's?
I think you said 3 S's.
That will not get you 5% off.
Good catch.
M-A-S-S. Yes, M-A-S-S-S-S-S-S.
But for real, limit them to 2, though.
Yes, just 2. Yes, but actually 2.
I'm excited for today's episode, Tanner.
Yeah, me too. I'm sending one more message here. Okay.
It might be because I'm like riding off a little more caffeine than I normally am this time of day. I have a I have a newborn baby. So that means my sleep hasn't been terrible, but it also hasn't been what it used to be.
So do you have to ride the caffeine wave?
So I
do you
find
think, more
myself riding the caffeine wave a little more than what I used to. I used to a couple days a week do some coffee mid-morning-ish. Most days I do coffee mid-morning because it's like, I kind of I like it.
Right.
But then I find myself going back to the coffee pot afternoon, dumping it in the ice. And today I did that a little later than what I normally do. And so I'm riding that.
What do
right
you
now.
say, dumping it in the ice?
Oh, I dumped the coffee that hasn't been warm. I turn the coffee pot off, and then I just put the coffee, because room temperature coffee is terrible.
Right.
It's always terrible.
But cold,
cold on ice,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, it's basically iced coffee. I know
Right.
it's not probably the correct way to do it, but it tastes like iced coffee. So then you start.
Good enough for Tommy D.
You ride
Creative.
that second wave. It's like, boom, we're ready to go, man.
Yeah.
And here we are.
I like that strategy.
But speaking of delicious beverages, I think you had something.
Speaking of delicious beverages, I came prepared with what's in the can, and this is a guessing segment. So,
It is?
Yeah, so
Okay,
you need to.
I'm not looking.
It'd be important for you to put your hand around the rim of so you can avoid
Okay.
noticing the color.
I
I will
not
say
looked.
this will also be the first time I have tried this particular beverage.
Okay, this is I think the first time I've played what's in the can, isn't it?
I think so. I think I've brought a couple things before, maybe, but I don't remember.
Okay, I have a very faint idea based off of smell. Okay.
Whoa.
My taste completely changed.
That is, yeah, not
Off of smell, at first I was going to say maybe lemon, but I can't figure out what that second flavor is.
that has a
There's something
different-
there is something there, man.
and by the name, I don't know exactly what that is. What do you think? Do you think it tastes good?
I think it's refreshing. It would be like it's not best in class. I can tell you that.
Right.
It sounds crazy, but I almost get a hint of like Carmexy minty flavor. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Carmex. It does taste. That is.
You know what I'm
good.
saying?
Yeah, yeah. I wish you hadn't said that.
That's what I'm getting a little bit, but I'm also getting lemon a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Am I close on any of those?
Yeah. I guess I don't know by name. What
limoncello.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. Okay.
So what does cello mean?
I don't know. It's like an Italian thing, isn't
Is
it?
it Italian for Carmex?
I just
it
know
does taste kind of like
there's an Italian restaurant.
To
in
me, it
town,
almost
and-
tastes a little lemony vanilla.
Yeah, I would go with that. It actually does now that you say it. We do have some limoncello almonds upstairs. This reminds me a lot of those. That probably was why I couldn't quite put my finger on it.
So what's your rating then?
I would say maybe 3.5-ish. I put a regular lemon above this, and I think I gave lemon a 4. So this is just below regular lemon.
Okay.
Not bad though.
Yeah.
There's definitely more flavor than straight up lemon LaCroix. This is limoncello LaCroix.
Yeah. I'll give it like a 3 JD Power and Associates awards, I guess. That's where I'm at on that.
Yeah. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you could contribute there, Tanner.
Yeah.
Glad you could surprise me for once.
When we were talking about powerlifting meets, that's what I was going to say. Is I have made a decision that I don't know when exactly, but I am going to do a powerlifting meet again.
So does this mean you're really on the comeback right now?
Yeah, I'm really on the
It's
comeback.
officially
now.
a comeback?
Yeah. Yes, it's hashtag comeback at this point. It's actually not true because I haven't like picked out a meet or when it might still be. We're in July. It might still be 6 months or 8 or 9 months away. But
I don't know who would be scheduling a meet in the next 4 months right now.
Right.
No. Anyone?
I don't know.
Maybe
I
some
think
people are. I don't know.
Yeah. They're Jory from the gym. He has a meet coming up in a few weeks.
Really?
I guess I don't know where it's at.
Okay.
For sure, but they are apparently going on in some places.
I just think it would be. I think for me,
I wouldn't do
I'm
one
obviously
right
not
now.
peaking for a meet.
Yeah.
I would just really struggle with the idea of like getting ready for a meet right now, only to find out a week or two before that it's not on.
Right.
I
agree with that.
get it. Like meets are a really good thing to keep you focused. Nothing keeps you focused better on the gym than a meet. But it would be very, very, very frustrating to
that would
be
suck.
putting that work in to have it pulled out from you last minute. So hey, if
That
people are
would
doing
suck.
it, good for you. I hope for the best with it, but you never know.
Yeah. Especially right now, you really don't know. Like things could just turn on a dime at any point in time. It seems like.
Yeah. So you must feel like things are moving pretty good, right?
Yeah, things are going good. My hashtag road to recovery has been has been going well. My training's been going well, so I'm just happy about it.
I don't know if your training's been going that good though, Tanner, because Massenomics, as seen on the Starting Strength podcast, someone in the comments did say, "Why are these guys on here? They look small."
Yeah.
And
I thought the Massenomics guys would be a little more massive.
And when I saw that, I'm like, okay, I get I'm not the biggest guy in the world. Like right now, I'm 6'1", 195-ish. Sure, I'm not super beefy. Tanner, you're like 6'3", 260-ish.
Yeah, I weigh 260 right now.
Except for more obese people, you're bigger than anyone else. Well, like always.
I mean, we have a lot of like big, strong people that listen to this, I suppose, so there's big, strong people, but like much bigger than average people. Like when I'm like, especially you take people outside of the gym, usually bigger than most people you run across, I suppose, probably stronger than most average people that you come across.
Well, and I Starting Strength, it's great, but they're also not known as being the pinnacle of powerlifting either, right?
No, that's not what they're about even.
By Starting Strength terms, you would be like beyond anything that they're typically preaching,
Yeah, most often. I mean, they're working with beginners, starting strength for a lot of cases, not always necessarily, but.
So I did think that was funny, but it is also ties into their comments from the haters culture too.
Right, you can tell some people are just trying to get in the comments.
You got to take some of it with a grain of salt, which is funny.
I got called small and that I have a fat gut. Both. I don't know how they go together for sure.
They
but
average out, I guess, to be, I guess you're just regular.
There again, I'm also like, well, yeah, I'm not skinny, but I also don't like have a huge gut.
I know, yeah. That was the other one.
Yeah, I can stand to have a smaller gut than I do, but
I did laugh because I'm like, I don't know if I've ever heard anyone describe Tanner as fat. Like, the fat guy. Like,
I'm like, yes, I certainly have my fair share of body fat.
Who's that fat guy you're friends with? Like, you wouldn't be in the first 50 people I would list.
Right.
You might be 51.
It wouldn't be like, no one would be like, yeah, that skinny guy. Like, no, I'm not skinny either. But
same thing. I don't know if anyone referred to me as like, he's that skinny guy,
After someone said that, I even had to go onto the video and look and be like, gosh, is the way I'm sitting, like, did it make it look like I have a really fat gut? And I'm like, I don't know. I think I look normal-ish.
Well, and that's why I'm like, I probably look smaller next to Tanner, but that doesn't, I mean, I for sure look smaller next to Tanner. You got 50 pounds on me or more, but, yeah, it's just funny.
Well, yeah, the one comment that calling me with a fat gut said that I see why Rip likes these guys. The one in the yellow shirt has a fat gut, and the other guy is kind of pink.
Yeah.
Or
which is like the running joke with them, and like the stoner one. Or something.
So yeah, that he's and the stoner one is kind of pink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're the stoner guy because you have long hair, right? Then
I think so. Right, that's the go-to.
Yeah. I also am getting increasingly longer hair by the day, I guess I'm kind of turned into a stoner.
Quarantine cut, right?
That's right. Lack thereof. But that is, we were even talking about it before, like just getting out there on Starting Strength. We get to see like this little bit of an increase of exposure to people that aren't aware of us. So we get to see like these negative comments that we aren't all that used to.
You always know when you start to get a bunch of new criticism that you're reaching new to audiences, which is almost a good sign.
Yeah, it is it is. If that was never happening, you're probably not growing.
It's a good sign when you're getting negative criticism for like really weird reasons. I mean, if we did something bad, then it's like, well, we don't want criticism. But when it's like, hey, this is just us, what we do, and most people tend to like it, and then there's people not liking it, it's like, okay, yeah, we're reaching new people.
Right.
Kind of derailed you a little bit from your powerlifting.
I didn't really have. No, I didn't have much else to say. And I don't have anything specifically picked out, but just kind of had made the decision that is what I'm going to do at some point in time, is get into another powerlifting meet. And by the time I do it, it will have been a long time since I've done a powerlifting meet.
Yeah. Is it 4 years?
Probably
by the time you do it?
3.5, I think. Okay. I think 2017 was last.
Oh, was it?
Last time I did one. I mean, I did strongman competitions after that, but I haven't done an actual powerlifting meet since, I think, 2017.
Yeah.
And I'm still not as strong as I was at that point, but I am getting a little stronger all the time. And I weigh a lot. I still weigh like 20 pounds less than I did then. So I'm like, yeah, if I could. And at this point, I've said this before, it's like the swapes. I consider the slate to be wiped clean. So it's like, I just go set some numbers. And as long as I'm progressing from possibly until then, I'll be happy with that.
Set a Wilks or a DOTS or a
whatever the hell they even talk about at this point. Yeah.
Some coefficient PR, right?
Right. Yeah. Whatever. Like I would still, if I was to actually reference that in comparison, which would be an interesting comparison, like then I can actually tell if maybe I did make, at a lower body weight, if I did make some progress, I would look at Wilks to make that determination.
Yeah, it's the only thing you have a baseline for right now, right?
Right, yes.
I mean, I know you could put it in for something else, but I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. We should touch up on a few podcast related things here quick. One specifically is Massenomics. I want to say athlete, supporter, extraordinaire, athlete, James Swim Hack Strickland is in a very, I think it was last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, we were talking about someone being in the Lift Platinum Club.
Yeah, well, we had to create the Lift Platinum Club for someone.
We had to create the Lift Platinum Club, which is a supporting member fee. James Strickland is in a very exclusive territory that I thought would actually never exist.
Yeah, completely. Just when I thought someone couldn't take it to another step, like he made this step that we weren't even aware had the potential to exist, right? Like we didn't, we kind of created the system, and then
I actually didn't even know this was possible.
Right,
to be honest, I didn't know you could have multiple subscription tiers on our website.
Right.
You can do that, and he made that case very evident. But James Swim Hack Strickland now is a podcast supporter at the Apple Pie level, at the LaCroix level, at the Lift Shorts level, and also at the Lift Platinum Club level.
Yes.
Which makes him supporting us at 4 tiers.
Yeah. The only person to do so.
Which is not a small monthly. It is not a small monthly commitment by any means.
And, we almost have to name that something. Like if you do that, at least unofficially, that's like,
in horse racing, the big 3 is the Triple Crown. This is 4. I don't even know what you call that. We got to think.
It's like the Swim Hat Crown at this point in time because he's the only one.
It really is the Swim Hat Crown at this point. Yeah. Yes, he has the belt.
Yes,
and no one else is anywhere near him. So, God, James, thanks, man. That's pretty awesome.
It's like every week we think someone did something different to break the mold on the podcast supporting memberships, and then someone goes ahead and just one-ups the last person.
Yeah, it's amazing. So this is bringing the point for the people that the Lift Shorts level is too much, but the LaCroix level is not quite enough.
Double them up.
You can
go
now,
apple pie.
You can now wrap the apple pie in your hot LaCroix and have a $4 level if you wanted to. That is possible.
That's, as Julius Maddox would call it, a fat hack.
That is a fat hack. That might be a rich hack in this
that's
case.
A rich hack, yeah.
Yeah, for all the wealthy supporters out there. So again, big thanks to James. Follow him on Instagram at SwimHack. Also, thank you to all of our other supporters on there. It does make a difference. We were just talking before we recorded. We have some plans for the podcast studio. A few of them, are dependent on things outside of our control. We're waiting on a few scheduling things, but we will. I think we've probably even said this before, but we are going to be revamping some things here. I just don't know if it's going to be 30 days from now, 60 days from now. Hopefully it's done 90 days from now.
So that's especially for those that watch on video.
Especially them.
I think we got our audio pretty well on point at this point.
Yeah,
I don't think
outside of going through the efforts of soundproofing this room, and because this is my house and it is a room people have to walk through, I don't know if my wife would be on board with sound foam on the walls, but
what's the gain? Like, how much do we gain on that at that point? Like, I think I listened to this, tested out, and checked it out, and I think sound quality is pretty good.
Yeah.
Sometimes our phoning guests, that depends on the reception.
Yeah,
of their
and that's
phone.
one again that's outside of our control. There,
right.
It depends on the reception and everything. But
yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, we're trying our hardest over here. We're doing what we can.
Yeah.
But kind of on the topic of podcasts, we do have some podcast reviews today. We haven't read those for maybe a week or so now.
We've been ticking up number-wise on the old podcast reviews. I think as of now we're up to 226. So I was just going to read a few more of those. We still haven't caught up on those, but I'm wondering what number we have to get to officially start the road to 300.
Right now, the road to 300 is off in the distance, but it's not like road to 300 season yet.
No. What number do you think we have to get to officially start the road to 300?
It's got to be 250-ish, right?
Yeah, I think it has to be at least 250.
We started the road to 250 or the road to 200. Was that around 170-ish?
Yeah. So maybe we have to get to 260.
260
before
is
we
officially
we officially push
season.
the hashtag.
It's like playoff season. It's now
Everything
before this didn't matter.
We're kind of in the grind right now.
This is the regular season. You got to make the playoffs, but once you're in the playoffs, you're starting over, and this is when things matter again.
Yeah.
I like that. I can get behind that.
So yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
With the idea that we got to figure out something big for the road to 300. Once we hit 300, I mean, something's got
The billboard's still up.
The billboard is still up. I do like that.
Yeah, we're getting some free time on the billboard
Well,
right now.
probably because they're like, the billboard salesman probably is like, all right, so here's the billboard that's here right now. And they're like, oh, you mean we got to take that one down? He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that would be the one. They're like, nah, we don't want to mess with that. That can just stay
That
there.
one's going to stay for a while.
I'm pretty sure that's how that conversation
That's how
works.
it's going. First review here is from I'm Out 34. He says, the more you know. I've always been strong, but I didn't know how to stay strong. And using my strength, that dog just wouldn't hunt. Then I found a podcast about nothing. Thank you. Next one is from Bigger Jacob. Must be in reference to someone being Big Jacob, I suppose. Best pop culture lifting podcast. Whether it's Half Thor's Deadlift or Tiger King, these guys have it covered. They make lifting more exciting than it is in real life. On top of it all, they seriously have the best shirts in the business. Sacks and segments, it's a lifestyle.
Sacks and segments.
It's a lifestyle.
That guy doesn't know what we have coming up here.
That's aha! What a timely review. Next one from Nyla Shake. Best podcast out there. 5 stars. This is definitely the best podcast that I have ever listened to. That being said, this is the only podcast I've ever listened to.
I knew the backhand was coming in there.
It wouldn't be a full review without a backhanded compliment towards us. I had to check it out, and I'm upset that I didn't jump on the train from the start. Keep it crispy. The important thing is you got on the train now, at least.
And they're living that crispy life.
Yeah. Speaking of that.
That person, they actually set us up pretty good. This is the return of the sack segment for the first time in a lot of episodes.
Right. So what we've got here, some of the stuff I would already emptied out of the sack, but we can look at the rest of what hasn't been fully emptied from my sack.
It's a box of goodies from our homies at Full Tilt Barbell.
Yes. So this is from Big Tom at Full Tilt Barbell. And he sent each of us a couple of shirts. One is that one a 3/4 sleeve?
The old cutoff.
The cutoff, and then what's is that a long sleeve?
Oh yeah, the baseball 3/4 sleeve.
They both got his Full Tilt Barbell Club, and then he also sent us a flag that's hanging up in Massenomics gym already. So
awesome.
So that was from Big Tom. We appreciate that. Big Tom also has purchased quite a bit of Massenomics stuff. I think he. In his gym there has just about every banner that we've ever made. So he's a good supporter.
Hey, thanks a lot. And if anyone else has free stuff they want to send us and they want us to talk about it, there is a vlogger named Casey Neistat. I don't know if you know who he is, Tanner. He was popular for a while. He released a new vlog on YouTube every day, I think, for over a year.
Damn.
That's some dedication right there. But a pretty reoccurring segment was people would just send him free stuff. So in the beginning, he'd just be like his FedEx or UPS drop in front of his apartment in New York City would just be this massive pile of boxes. And he would just like go through, show stuff like the noteworthy things would make it.
Yeah.
If this podcast wants to turn into that, I'm all for it. So people, you can find our contact info on the website. Shoot us a message and
send us some LaCroix, some apple
send
pies.
us some your preferred flavors of LaCroix or sparkling waters, or things with alcohol, without alcohol, or anything cool you can fit in a box, and we'll probably open it on air.
Especially if you're really a listener, or really a fan, or really a supporter.
Those ones
in some
mean
way.
the most. Yeah, it's when it's not just someone trying to peddle their wares to our people.
But when it's someone that's going to get a kick out of being on the show, like because they listen to the show, then that's pretty cool.
Or when it's someone that they have a bunch of stuff from us and they're sending some stuff our way. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
I have one quick thing of follow-up for you, Tanner.
All right.
Last week you talked to me about a show called Alone.
Oh, I was hoping that's what you're going to follow up about.
So I took some time and watched it. And
what season did you watch? 6? That's what's on
6.
Netflix.
That's the only one on Netflix right now.
But 1 and 2 are on Amazon Prime. 3, 4, and 5 are on Hulu.
Okay, so you can catch them all.
You can catch them all. It's just
I
a weird.
do have all of those platforms, so I can do that. I am watching 6 where they are in the Arctic.
Yeah.
I think
75 miles south of the
Arctic Circle.
Yeah, where trees will grow.
Yep. And watching it, it's very entertaining. I like the concept.
So you
it's
do like
cool.
it?
I do. My 2 critiques of it.
Yeah.
I might have another once we start talking, but the first one, you almost feel. Do you know I think it was the book, The Most Dangerous Game, where it's the guy that wants to hunt the human.
Yeah.
You kind of almost get this feeling of you're the rich person, because a lot of the people, they are very upfront about it. I don't have much money. And this is the thing they're doing this for $500,000. This is the thing that's going to change my life forever. For most people, $500,000 is a big. It's a huge chunk of money. It is a life-changing amount of money. But with a lot of these people, I get the idea that it's
a
bigger than
really,
that.
Yeah.
It's
You're
bigger
right.
than that even.
Yes, I agree.
So
You're right on
almost
point.
kind of feel like, oh, I am the better off person that's watching people that are
suffering
having to suffer to break free of the system that we live in. And they're willing to almost kill themselves in order to do it. And this isn't
not
like
even an exaggeration.
This isn't like your normal game show where it's like, oh, they went through some minor inconveniences.
No, it's not Survivor. This is like if Survivor was real.
Yeah, like there's people that the guys like they're super lightheaded on the verge of passing out, and they're like afraid to go fishing because they're like, if I do stand up and pass out, I will go in the water and no one can save me.
Yeah, a lot of times it comes down to a calorie conversion in their mind of, will this task burn more calories than I can potentially get to take back in?
Yeah, so you almost feel like there's this moral thing of like, oh, I have it good enough that I can sit on my TV watching Netflix with my soundbar playing, with my LaCroix in hand, my lift shorts on, and I can just watch the poor compete for money. And it's like there almost does feel like there's some moral or at least like commentary on society that's the case. I think most people don't want to go there, but there's something that's a little off with that. So that's fairly deeper, but then on the more surface level, season 6 is 11 episodes. I don't think it needs to be quite that many.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's some of the seasons aren't maybe as long. Okay. I don't know. I don't really know how many they all are.
I was really pulled in from the beginning. There was a couple where I'm like, I think
Not
you're
much
just doing
happened.
the thing where it's like all TV shows need to be a minimum of 10 episodes.
Right.
I think for not even my attention span, but I just think that I don't know if it benefits from being a full 11 episodes. Right. It does really drive home the point of the monotony of their lives, that's for sure. So it does succeed in that. But I thought maybe it's getting a tad long. And then I thought episode 10 was the last one. I started it last night. Like, that didn't resolve anything. Oh, there's one more
there's
episode.
Always like this. I think it's like, maybe it's the last or the second to last episode. Whatever two people are left, all they do is recap those two people's story the entire time, and that I agree with that. It's
and that's where I'm like, it feels like it's starting to get drawn out. But the concept is awesome. I do like it. I would recommend that if you're into anything like that genre. I would recommend giving it.
Did you finish season 6?
I have
then?
one left because
so you don't know who wins.
Yeah, I thought last night was going to be the one, and then it got done. I'm like, what the hell?
I like season 6.
So I'll hopefully finish it.
I won't say who wins that, and also I won't say who wins any of them. But season 1, you've got to watch season 1. I really like the winner of season 1. Okay. I really like the guy that won. Okay. Shouldn't even say that. I don't know. Actually, no. Season 1 was all men, so that doesn't give anything away.
Even season 6, I think there's 2. I mean, it's still
they do a better job of diversifying the participants in the other seasons.
Yeah. So that's my bit of media follow up, but. I'm looking at my list here, Tanner. I think we did pretty good of getting through everything.
Weather report, it's hot.
Oh, weather report, yeah. And there's been crazy storms again. Hasn't
that's true.
there?
Yes.
It's, crazy storms around here. Like winds, I have a picture of, I kind of live on the edge of town here, Tanner.
Yep.
The sky, I don't know if you could see it in town.
I did.
But the sky the other day, how red it was. Did you see that?
I see the tornado sirens went off the other day. That's pretty crazy.
And there's a lot of tornadoes going on. So it's we're fully into Midwest summer weather right now with 90 plus degree days.
4th of July was really hot.
4th of July was really hot, and then you followed up with crazy humid days, which means that there's probably going to be tornadoes and thunderstorms, and it's all happening, man. It's all happening. Should we read some ads?
Ooh, let's do some ads. It's one of my favorite parts of the show. It's one of the most profitable parts of the show.
It is one of the biggest money makers of this entire show. Today's show is brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large sets the new standard for customer service within the strength world. Get email responses in hours, not days. They now have live website chat support available during the weekdays so you can get advice from a real powerlifter with actual platform experience. The Lifting Large team wants to help you achieve new PRs in the gym and on the competition stage. When you're ready to try single ply and make your way to the dark side, give them a call. Lifting Large is home to the Ground Lock deadlift slipper, and it's always in stock and always ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using discount code MASS20 at checkout. That's MASS20 to save 20% on all Lifting Large branded items. Place your orders at liftinglarge.com, and you can follow them on Instagram at liftinglarge.com. That's at liftinglarge, DOTCOM. The Massenomics podcast is also brought to you by Spud Inc. and the 2-ply deadlift belt. Deadlifting it in a traditional leather belt just sucks. Tighten it to where you need it, and it cuts into your stomach or stops you from reaching the bar. Loosen it up, and it doesn't give you the support you need. The Spud Inc. deadlift belt can be tightened to your exact needs. The Spud Inc. deadlift belt is made from a soft, flexible 2-ply or 3-ply webbing that has enough give to stay out of your way, but is as tough as any leather belt you've ever worn. The attached strap and ring make tightening and loosening this belt effortless, while the industrial strength Velcro keeps it tight while you lift. If you're in between sizes or need a custom size belt, the Spud Inc. team can take care of you there too. Just get in touch with them and they'll get all your sizing needs covered. Check out the Spud Inc. 2-ply deadlift belt online at spud-inc-straps.com. Today's show is brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com. And last, but definitely not least, Tanner.
Definitely not today.
This episode is brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. If you've been training without a coach and have been looking for a competitive edge, remember to check out hybridperformancemethod.com. Hybrid has 15 different strength and fitness programs covering everything from powerlifting and strongman to gymnastics and general fitness, all included in one training membership. That's not all. Hybrid also offers one-on-one personalized nutrition coaching that uses lifestyle habits and a flexible approach to shape your nutrition plan around your current lifestyle instead of turning your lifestyle upside down in order to support unsustainable habits that only work in the short run the way most programs do. If you're ready to take your training, nutrition, or both to the next level, use code MASS, that's MASS, in all caps for 5% off membership to all programs for the life of your membership. Thank you to our sponsors.
Thank you, sponsors. Well, should we try and get our guests on the phone here today
Let's get the phone machine spooled up and going here.
We know Hayden Bowe is going to be on the show, and possibly his significant other might join him then.
Okay.
Sounds like.
Well, let's see what happens.
Okay, here we go.
I was wondering if we were going to hear that sound.
That's always a good sign if we hear that. It's a good start.
Hayden and Steffi here.
What's up, guys?
Hello.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. You are both live on the Massenomics podcast, so congratulations on that to start it off with here.
Wow, I've always wanted to be live in the Massenomics podcast.
I think I'm gonna put that on my LinkedIn.
Same.
Yeah, that'd look great on your LinkedIn. That's you two both do quite a few things, but what you're probably both most well known for is being sponsors of the Massenomics podcast through Hybrid Performance Method.
Thank you guys for that opportunity. Yeah, we hear about that all the time.
We don't want to be too out there about it, but yeah, it's something we only let 4 people be a part of, so it is a very exclusive club.
I know, it's better than the Illuminati, I think.
Statistically, it's probably smaller too.
Yeah. No, we are excited to have you on today, and I don't know, you probably haven't heard before, but our format with guests is we don't typically talk to you a lot about your personal training and nutrition, although both of you are very strong and probably have nutrition down pat, but we kind of want to know about some of the other stuff that you have going on. And at the end, we want to wrap it up with we've got a special Steffi and Hayden version of our Overrated, Underrated game that we'd like to have you play. So are you down, both down for the ride?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm always super into other questions outside of what your best deadlift is.
Good. You both came to the right place then.
Are you telling me you've had people ask you how much you can deadlift?
It happens a few times a day.
So the first thing I had on my list that I was curious about talking to you is, I know you had a big event planned this year, was going to be the Kratos. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Yep.
So what's the status of that? And also what I'm kind of wondering, I'll let you both take it over, is what you think about the status of large events like that going forward, i.e. the Arnold in 2021 and Kratos and anything else like that for large lifting events.
I think it's going to be really tough. I think everything's up in the air right now. And, I mean, you've seen a lot of places try to open back up. Miami tried to do it, so we saw it firsthand, and they were very quick to dial things back because, instances of coronavirus have spiked pretty much immediately. And, I mean, I hope this isn't going to be the case, but I think it might be the case that events like that, of that size, might just be off the table until an actual vaccine is developed.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we don't have any set date for Kratos, but it's definitely something we're still going to do as long as the social environment permits it at some point. Hopefully we can use this time to just keep refining ideas about it and what we want to do and make it the best event we can.
And I mean, to give our listeners some insight into what Kratos actually is, it was supposed to be a competition, a 3-day long competition where we would include Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, both tested and untested, in hopes of unifying iron sports. So like the hope would have been to do 2020 with weightlifting and powerlifting, and then hopefully add strongman, and then hopefully add also CrossFit, and just kind of like unify all the sports a little bit better. And most importantly, make it an amazing experience for the competitors, so athletes are competing, for them to feel like, the professionals that they are. Because that's one complaint that I've had over the years, is that, I'm at the top of the sport, but I've never actually felt like a professional powerlifter, even though I get paid like a professional powerlifter. And, I take it very seriously. It's my entire life. So, just wanted to bring more professionalism to iron sports, especially powerlifting, because we don't have anything like that. And then make it super spectator friendly. That was the other goal, for there to be vendors who are relevant to the sports, and that people would enjoy. Sorry?
I just coughed and said Massenomics when he said vendors that are relevant to the sport.
Massenomics only. Having sponsors that mean something to the industry, that have done things for the industry, and that people want to see there, and then making it fun to watch. The whole experience of everything from seating to the stages with the lights and the streaming, and making having judges and all volunteers and coaches and loaders and spotters have like mandatory uniforms that look professional, just like stepping up not one level, but like a lot, the professionalism that we've seen in competitions in the past. So the most challenging thing about running an event of this caliber, of this size, is to get people bought in. And I'm not talking about athletes, but more so sponsors and vendors. And at this time, there's just so much uncertainty, and
people are pretty, upset about being burned at the Arnold.
Yeah, I know. And everyone's really apprehensive about spending money in anything right now. So, I've been communicating with, I don't know, 80 to 100 vendors, and everyone's pretty much been like, I don't know if we can afford it. I don't know if it's going to actually happen. We're not making any decisions yet as far as what events we're participating. So, that's a big bummer. I was personally really excited about it. But such is life. It'll happen when it can happen, and when we can get everything organized, but I'm not going to rush into it, because it's a huge undertaking,
Yeah. And I think it's awesome. Like the idea and the concept behind it all. And like Tanner and I on this podcast, we spend a good chunk of time talking about the things that you guys that you're trying to address with like the unprofessionalism in events or things not going the way they do, or you get top tier lifters there, but then outside of that, it's like, I don't know, was there 30 people in the crowd? Like, it just seems like if you think of it as a puzzle, there's always a few pieces missing.
For sure.
And I think that's a really cool thing that you guys are looking at the entire picture with this event. It's even cool enough that us being based out of South Dakota, we were looking at the map trying to figure out the logistics of driving to Miami, which is like about as far away as you can get to for us. But we would love to be a part of it if it ever does to go down.
Yeah.
We would love to have you.
Yeah, we'll definitely go down at some point, and you'll be first on the list. We'll let you guys know, and we'd love to have you guys involved.
We are going to be upset if we do get down to like second or third on the list. We want to be first on the list. That's a really important part for us. So you do say though, it's not really if, but when, and that's what I wonder. Do you think it is? Because right now it's just kind of seems like wheels are spinning. Maybe we made some progress and then we go backwards, and it just like as of right now, it just seems like nobody knows when things are going to change. But do you think a vaccine would be part of what could change that eventually at some point in time? I mean, I know you don't know the answer either, but.
No, I mean, I think it's a couple of things. Yeah. One, if obviously public health safety. So whether or not it's safe to actually be gathering in crowds. And the second thing is the state of the economy.
Yeah.
And I think that one even more important than the second one, because without vendors and sponsors, like, we're talking about a $250,000 minimum project. So like sponsors and vendors are a must.
Yep.
And talking about the state of the economy, you guys business wise, you guys are unique in the position that a lot of people that we talk to, they're more known for their lifting achievements, and with you both, I mean, you guys absolutely have lifting
You've
achievements.
lifted a couple weights before.
You've lifted weights before. You have achievements to be very proud of, but you guys do wear multiple hats, whereas you have quite a few things going on business wise, YouTube wise, podcast wise,
apparel,
merchandise.
Yeah.
Like you guys have a lot going on. How do you guys balance all your time and know like what's the most valuable thing to be spending time on right now?
And we ask that almost from a selfish perspective, because we do have a few different things we work on. We have podcast, the social media presence, the apparel and different things. So we're really curious on how do you prioritize what is the most important for you?
It's nice. We actually did another podcast before this one where we spoke about this exact thing. So good timing. It's fresh in our minds. And, what we were saying was when you start off in any sort of entrepreneurial venture, I think you have the mindset like, I'm sick of working for people. I just want to work for myself. I don't want to be told what to do. And then once you reach a certain size, you have so much on your plate. You start kind of being like, I wish someone was telling me what to do right now. So a lot of what we do now is just sort of having other people kind of create structure and schedules for us. And then we do the things that are more front facing for the business, like doing podcasts, hosting podcasts, for Steffi, traveling, go to events,
writing educational content, shooting.
Steffi's YouTube, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. So we have a really good team. Our team is around, I think, 50 people now. And within that, they all have, different jobs for different areas. And you just kind of have to make the evaluation, I think, of how much time you have in a day to spend on things and figure out what's the best use of your time. And for us, and Steffi especially, because she has such big exposure, it's usually more, like I said, front-facing public things that bring attention to the business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, when you owning a business, I think it becomes a matter of, how good can you delegate, and whether or not you're hiring the right people. Like that's part of our job, right? Like hiring the right people to run with ideas or develop projects or, keep things going. What's the other thing I was going to say? I forgot. I lost my train of thought. It's 7:55. I've already had one beer.
Well, we're both one LaCroix deep right now, so we know how you feel.
That is so lame.
I hope they paid you for that shout out.
We talk a lot about different sparkling waters on this podcast too, so we could get into that.
people I love LaCroix, and people give me shit for drinking it. What's up with that? Hey, remember when it was like in the back of my video and everyone was like hating on it? What's up with that?
I don't know. Apparently, it's a very divisive topic.
We're trying to bring awareness to the cause here.
Yeah, we have a segment of each podcast where we one of us brings an unknown flavor of sparkling water for the other, and we do a taste test on, and we give it a rating system and try to decide what it actually tastes like. So we spend a lot of time on the sparkling waters.
That's why
what's the percent accuracy?
I am personally horrible at it. It's so hard because they can be so flavorless, especially when you don't because we cover the can, so you can't see the color of the can or know anything about it. It can be extremely hard. You have to try it sometime. You'll be shocked at how hard it is to gauge. Yeah,
and that is how we got the amazing title of the podcast about nothing.
Yes.
I love it. Is that Seinfeld inspiration?
Yes,
so,
exactly. What we officially open as is the lifting podcast about nothing. Yeah. And I know you're both big Seinfeld fans, so that does fit in good.
Yeah.
Hayden is the biggest Seinfeld fan. But hey, okay, I think I remember what I was saying. So one thing is delegating, making sure that delegating and hiring the right people to do the jobs that you're running out of time to do. And then like Hayden said, just doing the things that only you can do. Like no one else can sit here and talk about hybrid or about lifting on a podcast on my team. Like this is something that only I can do, or traveling and networking and getting strong and competing. Those are things that only I can do. And for the longest time, I got really caught up on trying to improve my skill set to help my business. And I felt like I would always tell Hayden, I felt like I was a chicken running without a head. I don't know if you guys have that saying.
Chicken with its head cut off.
Yeah. Or like spinning on my own wheels, because no matter how much knowledge I gathered, I never felt like I had the tools that I needed to work on a particular aspect of the business. And the perfect example for that was marketing. For the longest time, we've been in business for about 4 years, and to be honest with you, we don't do any paid advertisements. Like we've never done like a marketing campaign. All of our traffic has been organic and word of mouth.
Right.
So, right now, especially with the recession and just how everything that's happening, obviously our business has taken a hit. And even before we got into this place to begin with, I kind of could foresee that this was something that we were going to have to face at some point, right? Like there's going to be a point where growth is going to start plateauing, or it's going to start slowing down, or maybe moving in the opposite direction. So
it's a matter of the things that get you from A to B might not be the same things that get you from B to C.
So I was just kind of preparing, and in the process, I just got so like wrapped up in so many marketing books and ways of thinking and lectures and whatnot. And I wanted to become a marketing expert. And then, I realized that's probably not the best use of my time. There's people, we were privileged to meet Candace, who is now our, what's it called? Her
CMO. She's the chief marketing officer. She was the chief marketing officer for bodybuilding.com for a number of years.
Right on.
Also for OPEC. So she's
been in the business for 15 years. So no matter how many books about marketing I read, I'm not going to be better than her.
Right.
Like there's people who specialize in that and whose entire lives have been, this one particular thing. I think one thing that a lot of people struggle with is letting go of control. If you're opening your own business, letting go of control, of power, and removing yourself from the equation and putting yourself in kind of the passenger seat, and just, being able to be the person that is there just overseeing, making sure that you don't crash,
Yeah, I think that's like when I look at Massenomics and even my own business.
I couldn't relinquish any control of anything at this point. That would be impossible for us to do, I think.
But I think that's really good advice for us to keep in mind, is just, and I think for anyone, is just to understand, sometimes, you got to be the bigger picture person and let other people, delegate the details so that you can free yourself up to keep that vision looking forward and moving ahead.
Yeah. And it's really tough to do, especially, when you start a business and it's your baby, you want you feel like you want to do everything exactly the way that you want it done, and you're the only person who can do that. But at some point you have to make the evaluation of what's the opportunity cost of me spending my time answering every single customer service email, and doing data entry and doing all these kind of important but relatively low value tasks compared to what you could spend your time on.
Right.
You talked about marketing and social media and Instagram and stuff. What's the tea on Instagram that, like, you both have big followings there? What's going on with Instagram? Have you noticed a significant change in maybe your discovery or your reach and that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's always changing, which is pretty frustrating. And it's tough. It's tough because you don't really know. Everybody has speculation on,
right.
What is the new hack for the Instagram algorithm, and I honestly I don't know the answer. We just try to post things that we think are helpful and to a large audience.
Yeah, look, definitely the algorithm has changed. Like 2 or 3 years ago, anytime I would make an educational video, or I don't know, or I would hit some sort of big PR,
I could post a squat set and get 1 million views a few years ago.
Right.
Now it's like I'll never get that.
Yeah, like I was getting 4 to 6 million views on some of my videos on Instagram, which is insane.
Yeah.
And it's insane. And since then, I don't know, it's been changing. But you know what? It used to drive me absolutely bananas. I used to go crazy and get so frustrated. I'm like, oh my God, like, this is gonna fail.
Yeah.
I'm barely getting any reach, any impressions. No one sharing my stuff. Like, this post only got X amount of likes, X amount of comments. And it used to frustrate me a lot. But you know what? I think that if you start getting consumed in, it's like anything, because everything fluctuates, right? Like, it's like when someone's trying to lose weight. If you get too caught up on whether you had a 2-pound increase one day or whatever, or 2-pound decrease, you wanted to gain weight, it doesn't really matter as long as the trend is moving upwards. And the only thing that you have control over is the quality of your content. So what's the point on like being so frustrated about the daily fluctuations of the stupid Instagram algorithm? Like it's not in your control, right? The only thing in your control is observing, right? So what are the things that are getting tons of hits? What's on your Explore? Go look at that. See what the engagement is on that, and who are the people who have been able to continuously grow their platform over the years, and even over the last few months that the algorithm has changed. What are they doing that you're not doing? Instead of having a pity party, because dude, nothing pisses me off more than the people who start being like, my Instagram and the algorithm's messing me up. It's like, dude, figure it out.
Yeah.
Just figure it out.
Yeah.
So, just not getting caught up on the daily fluctuations, and just making sure that you're constantly delivering value, and that you're getting feedback from your audience, and pay attention to the feedback that other people are getting, and constantly change your content to accommodate for what people are wanting to see. That's it.
And I think diversifying across multiple platforms is important too, because for a long time we were only on Instagram, and we identified that as a problem. Luckily, before Instagram started changing all their algorithms and all that stuff, so we decided the best route to take was for Steffi to start her own Instagram. She had the most. If you look at like YouTube or Google, people are searching Steffi's name the most out of anything that's associated with us. So it made it obvious that her having like a personal channel that we could also use for hybrid related things was the route to take.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're on that. Steffi's like, she's pretty new to TikTok, but she's on that also. And just trying not to be stuck and dependent on any one platform or third party, I think is important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that is the scary thing that a lot of people don't realize is how much of their business matters on Instagram. And I mean, we talk about it too. Like, we know for a fact that tons of our merchandise sales are funneled directly through Instagram. And it's one of those things that if for some reason Instagram turned your account off tomorrow, it would be a big deal for us. Yeah. I'm sure it'd be a very, very big deal for you guys too. But it is smart to be diversifying your ways of interacting with your fans, followers, and customers. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, right now it's still a valuable platform, but I think at least right now, the promised land is always still having a built out email list.
Right.
Yep.
And we had heard that from people early on and kind of just brushed it off because we saw so much success with Instagram. But, we heard it from enough people to start, taking it seriously. And then we put a lot of effort into that and having better email campaigns, providing value to customers through email. And I think it goes a long way.
I also think at least this is not something that I knew that people would specialize in. Did you know, like, email marketing, there's email marketing specialists?
Oh,
Did you know that?
Not
Absolutely.
until our now email marketing guy reached
Yeah,
out to
so
us.
this was so interesting. So I got an email from this guy, Chris, and the title of the email was, "Please don't call security." And then the first kind of few sentences said something like, "If I were to break into your gym right now and try to offer you help, you'd probably kick me out you'd probably beat me up with a barbell. So instead, I'm just going to send you this email." And I found myself just not being able to stop reading the email. Like, it was so well put together that I just read the entire thing. Usually whenever someone, gives me a business proposal, I can help you grow your business in 2 easy steps. Usually don't even, I usually just delete it.
Yeah.
But the email was so well put together. I ended up connecting with him and he's been working with us ever since. And it's something that I honestly didn't know existed, kind of like an email marketing consultant that, he has his own business and he has other clients. He charges you a fee, and it really does make a huge difference to have well thought of marketing campaigns that unify the message and make it uniform, throughout the week or the month, and that, most importantly, that uses data appropriately, because that's something also that we weren't doing. Like, gathering people who sign up, like, you gotta know, like, what are they interested in? Why do they come into your site to begin with? What's their age demographic? What kind of programs are they browsing for? Separating, just being really organized with the data that you acquire from the customers that are interested in your business is, if you're not doing that, you're leaving so much on the table. Like, data is probably the most valuable thing that you can have in your business.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's easy to not care about those things when everything's going really, really well. But I think, in tough times, those are the things that are important, because they allow you to sort of hone in on your key demographic and pitch things that they're interested to directly to them. So I think, sort of to piggyback off what Steph was saying, I think the longer format of media content that you can get somebody to buy into, the better your conversion rate is going to be. And I think that's why podcasts are so successful, because, if I post a squat video that's 5 seconds long on Instagram, anybody can watch that, whether they're interested or not. But if you can sit down and have somebody interested in what you're saying for an hour and a half, 2 hours, those are people who care about what you have to say, people who are, invested in what you're invested in, and are more likely, I think, to be conversions into actual purchases and whatever it is that you're selling. And email is sort of like a middle point between those. So I think those are both great. Like, I think for us, probably the highest sort of conversion platforms.
Well, I think with that advice, once we get off this podcast, we're going to go sell a whole bunch of Massenomics shirts now.
Absolutely. Well, and actually, we are going to test that time thing. We didn't tell you guys, but we are going to have you on for 3 straight hours here. So we'll find out how that holds up.
You're gonna need more than one beer, Steffi. So I hope you got a whole case there. To switch gears just a little bit, Hayden, there's something important I had to ask. Are you the Florida man we've been reading about?
Oh God, I hope not. But, I mean, it depends on who you ask, I guess. We're definitely the youngest people in our neighborhood by about 20 years, and we get in a lot of tiffs.
I think to them we are Florida men.
I think so. Yeah.
Like, we're probably in the neighborhood chat group all the time. Tell them about some of the stories.
Do you have a homeowners association where you live?
We don't, thank God, or we probably be out of it already. But our neighbor, I think the closest age, like the next closest person to our age, is probably 50 years old, and we've got young dogs. We Dexter's a hunting dog. He's got to run like minimum 5 miles a day, and Steffi and I certainly are not doing that. So we bought a Honda Ruckus, which is like, I don't know, like kind of like a souped up like scooter.
Yes,
And,
I know what it looks. Yeah,
yep.
And we'll just rip Dexter around the neighborhood on that thing. And I think people don't really say anything to me. I guess I'm a large enough person that the normal people, they don't really want to like get in a confrontation with me. But the Steffi with clothes on, like, with a shirt on, like you can't really tell that, she's super strong. So she gets shit from the neighbors constantly. People are yelling at her from cars, telling her, you're gonna kill your dog.
Like, because they think you're running him too far, or
I guess so, but it's like he's, if anyone, any of these listeners have ever encountered a German short-haired pointer, they're just possibly the craziest dog you can possibly have. These dogs, when they're in the field, when they're working dogs, they're doing like a marathon a day. So he can't just sit in the house and chill like some of these other more domesticated dogs. He wants to work.
This couple stops me at 10:30 p.m. as I'm running my dog in the scooter, minding my own business. I'm like the only person on the street. We live in a super quiet neighborhood. And I just can hear him mumbling under his breath, So I stop my scooter and I go, "Excuse me, are you talking to me?" And he goes, "Yes, I'm talking to you. Why can't you just walk your dog like a normal person?" And I'm like, "Well, that's extremely rude of you to be just yelling at me. Is this how you normally communicate to people that you don't know?" And he's like, "We all talk about you in the neighborhood. And we're all fed up, and we're tired of you and your scooter, and you're running your dog around." And I'm like, Jesus, man.
Yeah. So I mean, to make a short story long. I might.
So you got a target on your back, is what you're telling us.
Yeah, we definitely might be the Florida people. We also we have a boxing coach, and we sort of box in the street sometimes. I'm sure we've ended up on someone's Instagram story or Snapchat or something.
Yeah, because we're from South Dakota, so it sounds like a pretty crazy world to us all the way down there.
Yeah, I'm from Canada, so this is definitely a crazy world to me as well.
Yeah, and I wanted to congratulate both of you. The listeners might not know, English is actually the second language for both of you. Hayden speaks Canadian traditionally, so you're doing great on the podcast. You can't even tell.
Oh, man. Just wait till we get Oot in a booth.
Okay, so would you like to play our overrated, underrated game? I'm hoping you say yes, otherwise we don't know where to go from here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and to tell you a little bit about this game, we Tommy and I shoot you a series of topics. These are specially catered for the two of you. They can include lifting topics, or they could just be completely random. You'll find out that a lot of them are completely random. But you have your druthers the way you answer these, but you do have to remember you have to land on either underrated or overrated. You can't ride the fence in between. You can't say anything's appropriately rated. And since you two are doing it together, I guess you're going to maybe have to confer on what those answers are before you. Usually it's just one person, but today you two are going to have to get together on some of these and come up with an answer. So if you're ready, topic number one for overrated or underrated is Scarface, the movie.
You take this one.
Oh, man. I mean, damn, I kind of feel like it's appropriately rated, but
nope,
you
can't do that.
Yeah. I know. You know what? I'm going to say overrated, because if I was a person walking into Scarface now, like luckily I saw it when I was a kid and I had, no one had really amped it up to me, but I feel like there's so much hype behind that movie that going into it now with like the cinematography from back then and all that stuff, I probably would be slightly let down. There's a lot of really good movies out now.
So I have two pieces. I have two pieces of follow up on Scarface. One, do you guys remember back in the day MTV Cribs when they'd show? There's two things that would always happen. One is they'd show the bedroom and say, "This is where the magic happens." Yeah. And two,
classic.
Everybody had to pull out a DVD of Scarface and be like, "Got that Scarface DVD?" Do you remember that?
Oh, Yeah, that was definitely mandatory if you were a rapper. for
Yes,
sure.
yes. Every rapper had the Scarface DVD. Like there's probably a special edition that they used to differentiate themselves. So, I was wondering if you remember that. Two, as people that live in Miami and someone that has never been there, does it paint a good picture of Miami, or is it an accurate picture of Miami today, or is it nowhere near like that?
I mean, visually, they've made a big effort to maintain the visual of what South Beach looked like back then. So a lot of those buildings they can't knock down, and it looks really a lot like it does in the movie. In terms of crime, I mean, I don't know. I'm not too involved.
Oh, I thought you were going to give us the inside
world,
scoop on the underworld.
So. But I mean, hey, in what I've been exposed to, at least, we had probably one of the biggest drug operations in the country being run out of Iron Addicts Gym right there in Linwood.
Right.
Part of the reason why we started our own gym was because that gym got closed down, and that's where we were training at the time. They were the only place that had like a monolift and a deadlift bar and all that stuff. And then one day the DEA just raided the place.
Yeah.
And 48 hours later it was empty.
Wow. That's a lot of plates to move around in 2 days.
Yeah, dang.
As someone that's moved gym equipment, that's no easy task.
40,000 square feet.
What's that?
I said, as someone that's moved gym equipment around a time or two, that's no easy task.
Yeah, that's rough.
Okay, so topic number 2, overrated or underrated weight cuts.
Steffi, I feel like you've had the most impactful ones.
Weight cut?
Yeah.
That's the question?
I think underrated. I think they've taken so much heat recently. You know what I mean? Like, whenever
But
someone
it
talks about
depends
a
on
big
for
weight,
what. It depends on for what.
if you're trying to be the best.
If you're trying to be the best, or if you're trying to compete, or are we talking about how bad or how good are they?
They're definitely bad for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't say how bad or good they are for you. More so the thought of a lift, the whether or not a lifter should be doing them. Part of it is how I look at that. Is that how you interpret?
Yeah,
that?
I would just say the concept
I think
of
then
dropping
in that
weight.
case, overrated, because I think for the most part, people shouldn't really be doing it unless they're like, I don't know, at the very top. Trying to break a world record or trying to maybe win some sort of big competition. I think the risks far outweigh the rewards.
Mm-hmm. And
more so than the risk, like if it's done properly, it could be relatively safe, but it definitely impacts your performance. So, I'm telling you because for the last 2 or 3 years, there's been a huge shift in what people kind of consider the quote unquote best powerlifter to be. We went from respecting people who are at the top of their weight class and really admiring that to somehow got caught in this, like, if you don't have the best Wilks, you suck,
Mm-hmm.
So for the last 3 years, I've been beating myself up, trying to cut more and more and more and more to the point where, dude, I cut to 114 last time I competed. That's a huge cut for me. And the times for the US Open that I've cut down to like 118 or 119, all the way up from 135, those are huge weight cuts, only so I can get this like ridiculous Wilks, because that's the only way that people are gonna, for some reason, respect me now. And I've more recently changed my outlook on that and my perspective to, I just want to see how much I can lift. And that is 1,000% independent of Wilks. I just want to see, hey, how good can I train? How good can I feel while I'm training? And how much can I lift? How far can I push my body? And if I'm constantly restricting my calories, if I'm constantly competing, in a dehydrated state and going through these massive cuts, there's no way I can truly see, what my fullest potential is. And for me, at least, I'm past the smaller weight classes already. Like I weigh on average, 130. Like I don't, and I've already done it. I've done 114. I've done 123 for the last 5 years. So
you've done 132 also. You have the deadlift record in 132.
Yeah, So I think, so I think what I'm trying to say is you don't, I don't think it's necessary unless you're trying to, break an all-time world record or beat someone by body weight in a competition, or like you're at the very top. I think just more exciting for the public and more exciting for you is just going to be responsibly consume the amount of calories that allow you to train and feel good, and not use it as an excuse. Like, I'm not going to pay attention to my weight and I'm just going to eat like crap. But if fueling yourself for performance and for the purpose of seeing how much you can lift.
And you got deep.
So is that an overrated or an underrated then?
I think shit
Overrated.
Okay. That's kind of that's what I was taking out of it. I didn't want to put any words into your mouth though.
Yeah. Okay. Next topic: overrated or underrated Porsches.
Or Porsche.
First, what is the correct?
Should you be saying Porsche or Porsche?
Oh, Porsche.
I say Porsche, but I mean, I don't know.
say Porsche. I honestly hate when people say Porsche.
We talked about it
I
beforehand and
hate
weren't
it.
sure what was right.
I mean, we're a little bit biased. You have one, but I
think everyone can agree that they're the best car ever.
Yeah, you know what? Underrated. You know what? Honest answer is underrated.
Underrated.
Because we have a 911 Turbo S, and it's kind of like a sleeper car. That car goes 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. And you'll see somebody, like, I'll pull up beside a Ferrari at a light, and they'll think they're gonna blow me out of the water, and I'll leave that guy in the dust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of the fastest street cars. But forget about that. Like, forget about our model, because that would be biased. Just from a perspective of just car design, like how far ahead of their time they were, just how much they know about cars, how they build them, the engines, the inside, and the driving experience.
And they have a timeless look. You can have a 50-year-old Porsche and they're still great looking and performing cars. Yeah. So yeah, I think underrated. I think you have to be into cars to fully understand the value of one.
Mm-hmm. All right, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
All right. We always save the best topic for last here, so it's coming up, and it's usually always extremely serious. So, overrated or underrated Tim Hortons?
Oh man, underrated for sure.
And you have inside info on this, of course, being from Canada,
the motherland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's unfair. I would say overrated.
You know what? We're gonna get in a fight once we get off this call. I think that it's so popular in Canada that it's become like a thing for Canadians to trash talk Tim Hortons, especially the coffee. But man, Tim Hortons has it dialed in, always fresh.
Coffee?
Yeah, the coffee
it's
and the donut. You walk into a Tim Hortons, they have the time of when the pot was brewed written on the pot. So you know it's fresh. Who else does that? don't even start with.
I don't remember seeing that at Starbucks lately. I can tell you that.
Right?
I think,
and those chicken wraps.
Yeah, but that's not what you go to Tim Hortons for. Like, those chicken wraps are unbelievable, but that is not why you go to Tim Hortons. You go to Tim Hortons to get donuts, all right, and coffee. Donuts and coffee.
Don't tell me what I go to Tim Hortons.
And the donuts. Sorry, I'm not done. The donuts are at best, all right, at $6.
Ugh.
Well, I would encourage both of you guys to have the apple fritter donut next time you find yourself in Canada, and then you can write Steffi a
mediocre
worded email.
Mediocre at best.
Would you say it's better than a McDonald's apple pie, the apple fritter donut?
Not even.
Dude.
The McDonald's apple pie has reached a bit of a cult status on our podcast lately. Yeah. So that's some pretty high praise if you're directing people that way.
Dude, McDonald's apple pie.
I might fly to Canada.
Hold on.
Apple fritter donut.
Hold on. Can I tell you a story about the McDonald's apple pie?
Yes. There's nothing our listeners would like better than if you have a story about the McDonald's
apple pie. We would
encourage
it.
Okay. So I go through these weird phases where I get absolutely obsessed with one particular food item and consume it to the point of exhaustion. Like, you know, I've gone through periods where all we ate for a period was Dennis Grand Slam.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Danny.
Serving them
The
a
Grand
pot.
Slam. Then we went through a period where all we ate was this XL burrito from Taco Rico. That was like, I'm not even kidding you, that must have weighed 10 pounds. It was a 10-pound burrito. And I would just kind of like nibble at it for the entire day. You know, and that would be our own meal. And then we'd be like, I have no idea why I feel like shit. But anyway, so then we had another period where at midnight, every night, would be like, oh, I feel like something. And then we would order
Uber Eats apple pie.
yeah, Uber Eats apple pie, Diet Coke, and like a plain. No, we would get a McFlurry, and we would mix the apple pie into the McFlurry.
Yeah.
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 Last.
But anyway, so one day, I'm so excited about my apple pie. I'm like waiting for it. Then when we get it, I open the bag. Okay, I take the apple pie out of its package, and it has a bite. Like a very, I clearly defined.
Yeah. There was no question. It was 100%. You could see the person's
Teeth, like the denture, you could see it.
Oh no.
But we ate it.
Yeah, we cut it.
Yeah, whatever they're made out of, I don't think germs can stick to it. So
No.
you were probably good.
We had Julius Maddox on last episode, and we got pretty deep into. He called them his fat hacks, is what he said, and his big thing was the apple pie. He likes to crumble it up and get like the yogurt parfait and put it in there.
I think it was the ice cream, wasn't it?
Or was it the ice
Yeah,
cream?
he liked
Okay.
to get the
Yeah.
McFlurry and then or the ice cream and then
Yeah.
crumble the apple pie in the ice cream.
But
Well-
what he told us though is the Burger King apple pie is the best fast food apple pie out there. That's from Julius, and I think he knows a thing or two about the fast food desserts.
I'm gonna have to try it. But you know, there was a time where you could actually ask them at McDonald's to put it in the McFlurry mixer thingy, and it like they used to smash it inside for you, so it would just be kind of a sundae with the apple pie pieces like warm.
Nice.
I did not know that.
That's a good fat
Yeah.
hack. Yeah.
Yes, you're welcome.
So what was the final answer?
Well, I think we had
for Tim
I
Hortons?
think Steffi was saying overrated,
Okay.
and Hayden
so
said
split
under.
decision.
The decision, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Filed for a divorce.
Over the apple pie. The apple pie, the McDonald's apple pie. Oh wait, no, that's over Tim Hortons. But what I would say is the McDonald's apple pie has a way it can bring people together, and it can also tear them apart. So it's funny how it did that right on the podcast. But good news, you both did great on overrated, underrated. You passed. That kind of mostly wraps us up. But I did want to ask, as long as we talked about it, who is your favorite main character on Seinfeld? Who is the best on the show?
Oh, I think George for sure. I think,
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Look, as a human being, I love Jerry. Like,
Yeah.
Jerry's the GOAT. But in terms of like a character, George is a difficult character to play because he has to play like he has to have such range. Like
Yeah.
Kramer, he's just crazy, you
Right.
know. But he's a crazy guy. Jerry, he's like the calm, reserved one. Elaine is kind of like also that. George is like he's got to cover all ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And he's involved, I think, in the most like crossover storylines. So
Yeah, that is true.
I think George is. Yeah, I gotta go with George on that one.
Yeah, you nailed it. I think I'm gonna agree with you.
I agree with. That's also my opinion.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. All right, that's mostly what we wanted to cover. We are going to talk more about hybrid performance method actually after you get off the show here, because of course you're one of the sponsors of the show. But is there anything else that either of you needed to get out there?
Steffi, anything?
No.
Okay.
No, guys, we're big fans of the podcast. We appreciate you having us on.
Hey, well, thanks a lot for being on.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun, and maybe we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah.
We'd love to.
All
Thank
right.
you so much, guys.
All right. See you later.
Thanks a lot. See ya. Well, there we are.
That was that.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, we also got to love those fast food dessert tips.
I mean, nothing
get
gets
enough of
people
them.
going. Nothing gets
Yeah.
people going like some fast food critique, right?
No, that's the best part. Did we have anything else we needed to get off our chest for this episode, or
Probably not yet. We have some pretty exciting things in the pipeline, but
We do.
this has turned into a long episode.
Yeah,
we
so we
probably
better-
don't need to keep people too long.
No.
So, stay tuned.
All right, let's hit up our sponsors again here then. This show was brought to you, of course, by Texas Power Bars. In 1980, Buddy Cap set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, Massenomics, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been set and continue to be set and broken on the legendary Texas Power Bars. Check them out at texaspowerbars.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has been setting a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home of the Ground Lock deadlift slipper, and they are always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners, because you're so special, can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using our discount code MASS20 at checkout. Today's episode is also brought to you by Spud Inc. The goal of our friends at Spud Inc. is to make straps and products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave absolutely no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. And of course, our guests from today's show, Hayden and Steffi over at Hybrid Performance Method. We didn't talk to them too much about their training and nutrition and everything.
They have enough videos talking about that already.
You can find out about that stuff. Go on their stuff. And
There's literally probably hundreds of hours of them.
we wanted to find out like
The hard-hitting facts
the
here.
important stuff.
None of those softballs.
But when you do find out, you might become interested in their training and nutrition that they offer there, and you can sign up for that. And of course, because you're a Massenomics listener, you can get 5% off, and you have to use our discount code to do that. And that is MASS, just two S's, MASS, but it is in all caps. And that's at hybridperformancemethod.com. Thank you to our sponsors. Tommy, where do they find you at on
You can
Instagram?
find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can find me at Tanner_Baird. More importantly, follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.